Tonight we have here Mr. Allyne Gartrell from the Atlanta Dance Connection. He is the founder and artistic director. So, tell me tonight, when did you start dancing?
Well, as you stated before, my name is Allyne Gartrell. I am indeed the founder and the artistic director of the Atlanta Dance Connection, Atlanta's Ambassadors of Dance. Thinking about it, I think I started dancing from the time I was on the earth, on the planet, right from the beginning. But being exposed to classical dance in the city of Atlanta, where I was born and raised, I was able to see some broad horizons with those things. And classical ballet and modern dance was introduced to me at the age of 15 at the DeKalb Center for the Performing Arts at Avondale High School. And from that point on, it was a life change.
All right, next question. What or who inspired you to dance?
Oh, real easy from the very beginning. Wonderful man. His name was Gary Harrison. He was a product of Atlanta as well, but he was the director of dance at Northside School of the Arts, which is now, it's gone through transition to North Atlanta.
Right.
But he was the dance director there, and he was also the jazz teacher at the studio called Terpsichore Dance Expressions. But what really captured me was there was this wonderful show called Star Search back in the day. Yeah. And he actually appeared on that show with two other female dancers. And when I realized that was the man that I had seen in Atlanta and he was now on television, I was like, oh my God. So he really ignited the passion. There was a wonderful woman named Cheryl Thomas who was an alumnus of my high school. Mm-hmm. She had come back to do a reunion show with the school. We were doing Hello Dolly. Okay. And she came to me and she said, I have something for you. So I'm going to come and pick you up on Saturday morning and we're going somewhere. Well, she picked me up Saturday morning and took me to this man's class.
Wow.
On Saturday morning, and I was blown away because I met the man who was on television, right. Who I was like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. So from that day forth, Gary Harrison was my inspiration to get as much of this information as I possibly could.
Wow. Okay. So when you took that and you continued to dance, and now that you're older now, like, your body can't do all that anymore, so now you have to find another avenue to reach out and get your dancing passion across. So why do you continue to teach now?
I think I've always been a teacher. I've always had a teachable spirit, so I've always been able to gain information and knowledge. But I also knew at an early age that I had a gift of speaking and sharing information. Mm-hmm. And I think that is something that is instinctual, and it has to be nurtured like every other gift that one is given. So I started teaching and sharing information probably when I was about 19 years old. So I was cultivating my teaching style all while I was growing as an artist, as a dancer. So then when I began to retire from the stage as a dancer, I had already cultivated a whole nother passion of teaching. So my teaching is who I am. It's my identity. It's my brand. And that gives me the source to continue to feed the Atlanta Dance Connection.
Okay. So getting into some of the nitty gritty of this, what are some adversities you have experienced as a black dancer? And what are some stereotypical sayings that you have heard about black dancers?
Oh, okay. Well, being born and raised in Atlanta, in the true South, in the 60s, there was, of course, segregation and racism and, the battle for rights and equal rights and civil rights and all of that unrest that was going on in our city. So I am a product of that turbulent time. So, in a profession that has been normally dominated by other ethnicities, for a black young guy growing up in the city of Atlanta in the 60s, dance was not the first career choice that was on the table. So it you know, you kind of had to go kind of around the back door to get to it.
Right.
So you hear all the negative stereotypes about, you know, oh, he's a male dancer, he's gay, he's this, oh, you know, don't do that, and they won't pay the bills and all of that. But then, you know, as a black dancer, you realize that there are some things that were not really accessible to you. So classical ballet and black training at that time, for what I knew of, it may have been there, but I just didn't know about it.
Right.
So blacks not being able to attend Atlanta Ballet and things of that nature, those were things that were prevalent, you know, until times and things began to change.
Right.
You know, all of those stereotypical things that, you know, the black aesthetic was not built for classical ballet.
Right.
So, and all of the derogatory names that we were called during that time, which still stands in the back of people's minds sometimes. So they may not verbally get it out, but it's there.
Right. Well, in the midst of all of these adversities, what motivates you to push through them?
You! You do. You motivate me to keep going and doing this every day. You becomes a broader sense of the word, and then you becomes a global exchange of young people who are ready to receive this information and can take it and propel it forward and go to the next level, because I'm only standing on the shoulders that I'm standing on, and now my shoulders become yours to stand on. So you must take it and okay.
It's all right. Take a minute.
You really have to nurture and be so. Your gift and your temple is everything. And when he shares this wonderful gift in this language with no words with us, and it allows us to move space, spirit, and time, we begin to know that we are God's.
Right.
And with that power we are charged to a higher calling. So with all of that, this dance now has been my ministry, it's been my lifeline, it's been my saving grace, it's been everything that I needed for the last 30 years.
Right.
So with that, my time will expire. Whenever the Creator sees fit for me to go, my time shall expire.
Right.
But what I hope and pray that I will have done is I will have pushed the envelope as far as I could to affect change and to share the knowledge and the gift, and given freely enough to people so that they can take it and go further.
Right. Amen. Amen. Okay. Well, this is one of our last questions. Can you just explain your daily rehearsal schedule along with other duties you have in life, and how much mental power and physical power goes into the profession of dance?
It is life consuming. So I can't even capsulize it by saying, well, from this hour to this hour, I do this, and then from this hour, it doesn't really kind of work like that. Because it does become a life change. And in that life change, when you run an organization such as ours, or such as, you know, the Atlanta Dance Connection, which is a nonprofit grassroots organization, we are a small organization that produces phenomenal work. But with that, you wear several hats. And wearing several hats is not always conducive to a 9-to-5 schedule.
Right.
So sometimes at 4:20 in the morning, you get the idea, you gotta get up, you gotta go type the email then. You know, oh, I'll forget, okay. So it becomes life. So my schedule for dance is life, it's my life. You know, my life is centered around and focused on dance, which is the Atlanta Dance Connection. And everything else supports that. Because when this is happy, I'm happy.
Right.
But if this is not happy, I'm not happy. So I have to keep this, because this is my lifeline, this is my soul. This is my child. This is what I gave birth to. So nurturing it and continuing to do that, those are the things that continue to move it forward. So all day of my life, from the time I wake up to the time I lay back down, is my schedule.
Cool. So, any last closing words, anything that you want to say to black dancers out there in the world that are looking to have a path to dance?
Find yourself. Know yourself. So that you can make the choice clearly. Because once you make the choice, it's a life change. You must hone your craft, which means you must be in class constantly. You must develop your instrument and your vessel to the point where it is immaculately designed and crafted to where it can speak any vocabulary and language that is set before you by the choreographers. That is your reasonable service to being an artist. You must be honest to yourself, and you must be a clean heart. You must have a clean heart. We are gifted, but the gifts are only there to be utilized through us. It's not us. But if this temple is dirty, there's going to be a lot of talk. You're going to hear a lot of things. But you got to be strong enough to make up your own mind and design your path to get on the journey. So for every young person out here trying to do it, don't stop dreaming. Don't stop fantasizing. Don't stop playing make-believe. Still have an imagination, but then take it a step further and set those into goals that are attainable. And then the next thing you know, you'll be blinking and you'll be talking on the camera after 30 years.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.